What's up, guys? It's your boy Marc Proctor, aka Doc Proc, here to discover tips, tricks, and motivation to help get you. Yeah, I would have seen him. And on today's episode, we're going to be going over fact or fiction. So stay locked in for rapid fire questions on episode 17 of hashtag Wisdom Wednesdays.
No.
Disclaimer. The following fact or fiction segment is meant to provoke discussion and debate. These are the subjective opinions of professionals. In no way is this meant to be used to chastise, criticize, mock, reprimand, or fire these individuals for their personal opinions. Back to our scheduled programming.
Fact or fiction?
Fact or fiction? Logic makes communication effective.
Fact. I think that when you're able to explain something in a logical, concise way, it makes things a little bit easier to understand and remember.
I think it sometimes does, but I think it's more emotion that makes communication effective because it's the words that you use and how you use them that help people interpret what you're saying and understand. The logic, it often goes in 1 ear out 1 ear and people interpret it a whole bunch of different ways.
Fact. I think that logic is basically just the understanding of something. So being able to make somebody understand whether that's relating through a personal experience or something that they can correlate to is essentially logic. And then that way you can communicate. Doesn't even matter what language it is, really, you can communicate across the board.
Fiction. I think simplifying makes communication effective. You could be extremely logical and have a lot of great points, but if you're not able to simplify to your audience, it may not necessarily have the impact that you're looking for.
Fact or fiction? Managers can sell, sellers can manage.
Fact. I think it should be a fact at least. There's always that saying of those who can't do teach, but I really don't believe that's true. I think it's just those who can teach better teach. Sometimes people who can do things really well can't teach what they're doing. So I think a really good director is somebody, who can do both. And a sales rep, is somebody who can kind of point the director in that direction.
Fiction. Sometimes that's the case, but from what I've seen, I think people have innate strengths, and you can be a good seller and be able to lead people, and you could be able to lead people, be able to sell, but I think in general, people have a tendency to be stronger at one thing or the other. It's rare that you'll find people that are good at both. And that's often why you have that problem where the top sales rep gets promoted to management and then they end up being a horrible manager.
Yeah, this is a tight one. Ideally fact, but in realities, fiction. And the reality is sometimes your best salesperson isn't necessarily the best manager and vice versa. Being a manager, you need a high degree of EQ, and all your previous questions kind of sync up. You have to simplify a lot of information and distill it in ways that people can understand and action it. It would be ideal, though, if you could do that and sell as a manager.
Fact or fiction? Communicating a hidden problem worsens the problem.
I'd say fiction too, because it takes courage to communicate about a problem, and depending on the approach and how, it's like, giving and receiving feedback. So it all depends on the approach and the timing, and you have to do that at the right time and put the right condition around it, and in order for it to emerge with a solution.
Fiction. The reason for that is because the hidden problem might actually be the root of the problem. And I think that if you're going to clear everything and make sure that everything is running smoothly, you want to sort out all of the kinks and all of the problems, and be honest and transparent about the issues that are presented.
Fiction. I don't think it worsens the problem. I just think it brings the problem to light. The problem is the problem. Whether you know about it or don't know about it doesn't necessarily change things, right? If you don't know that there's a raccoon living under your house, the second you find out doesn't make the problem any bigger. The problem was still there the whole time, right? You just have to, now you just have the information necessary to do something about it.
I would say fiction to that one. I think people are prompted to take action based on problems. A stat that I heard early in my career has always resonated with me: 70% of people taking action to fix a problem. I think the key is ensuring that it's the right focus that you're bringing up or a problem, and that you're giving them a pathway to a resolution. That's the key, just not kind of leaving them in the dark with an issue.
Fact or fiction? The message sent is the message received.
Fiction. I wish. I wish, because we all send or leave so many voicemails or emails to clients, and we cannot assume that it's received. So we always have to do some more work after, and dig deep or deeper, or try to reach other people in the company. But unfortunately, no, a message sent is not necessarily received.
Big time fiction. Broken telephone is the simplest way. If you ever played that game as a kid, you can see how that message breaks down just from going from one side of the room to the next. And that goes into understanding your audience. How do they interpret information? What are the core pieces of information you want to come across? And mirroring and ensuring that it's matching up and being conveyed in a way that's going to resonate truly to that end user, that person that you're going to that message across to.
Fiction. Also depends on the medium you're sending it. But I do believe that sending the message needs to be reinforced over and over again to make sure that what you meant is how it was received. Oftentimes it's not, and that's uncovered in later conversations. And I do think, again, reinforcement in making sure your clear, concise message is going to be well received best, but oftentimes, especially via email, it's not.